All right, we're back here live on The Sweat, a show we bring you 11 o'clock Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, baby. And we talk a lot of golf on these shows, and we bring these two on quite a bit as well, especially on Wednesdays, a tradition unlike any other. We got Len Hochberg, senior golf writer for RotoWire, DraftKings contributor Geoff Ulrich. We got a price check here, guys. Let's take a gander at some salaries for this week's Charles Schwab Challenge. Let's start 10K. You got 6 golfers here to choose from in this group, including world number 1 Scottie Scheffler, who didn't look so hot last week. 11-2, top of the list. Who here is willing to pay a premium for this guy? Ulrich?
No, I don't think I'll be paying premiums for Scottie Scheffler. Much like last week, I think the play here is simply to just go down a few notches and take the better upper tier value in Jordan Spieth. Reminds me a lot of where Justin Thomas was sitting in the salary structure last week, about $800 behind Scheffler. Just playing insanely consistent golf, gaining over 7 strokes ball striking in 4 straight events. This is the best we've ever seen Jordan Spieth hit the ball, and I'm including like his run from 2015 in it. The off the tee play is right up there with the elites now. The iron game is hitting. If his putter shows up, this may not even be a golf tournament. I mean, that's how well he's playing. And then you add in the course history at Colonial. We know he's won here before, but really does handle these technical tracks well. It's hard for me to make an argument to place anyone over Jordan Spieth in the rankings. I know Justin Thomas is playing insane golf, but I'm going to discount him just because of the major championship hangover fact. So Jordan Spieth is where you start. I think if you want to get contrarian and start with 2 people over 10K, I'd take a hard look at Victor Hovland too.
Yeah, Len, nobody in the field has played Colonial better than Spieth. A win, 2 runner-ups, 5 top 10s in his last 6 starts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one to track these things, but we could see record ownership for Jordan Spieth this week when you combine the way he's playing, his course history, and the fact that he's Jordan Spieth. I'll throw out a couple of other names to, but I agree with everything that Geoff said. And Colin Morikawa and Victor Hovland, neither one playing great. Neither one had a good week last week. But this is a course, Colonial, where if they are playing their iron shot well, and few players play their iron shots better than those two, they won't need their short game. They won't need to be futzing around the green, which is their biggest trouble spot, which is why Colin Morikawa finished second here a couple of years ago to Daniel Berger, lost in a playoff. So if these guys have their iron games on, I expect a lot more from them. A couple of variables off of Jordan Spieth.
Well, speaking of Berger, he's in that 9K range, Geoff, and I know you've been pushing Berger a lot in the past few weeks.
I have, but I'm kind of ready to just give Daniel Berger a little bit of a break here. Maybe it's just like the major championship thing. I won't be shocked if he bounces back. These are typically the par 70 courses that he loves, and a slightly easier field, just a little bit easier setup does definitely lend itself more to Daniel Berger. So I really don't hate him. Like, again, I think if you pair like Jordan Spieth with Berger, you're going to get quite low ownership on him. So from a GPP perspective, yes, I still think the best play in this range is Abraham Ancer at 9,300, coming off his best ball striking week of the year. These courses just set up really good for a guy like Ancer too. I mean, they set up well for Berger, who's really improved his accuracy off the tee, but Ancer 3rd in accuracy off the tee this year. I mentioned like the iron play is coming. He's a player who can get really hot with his putter. He's actually 12th in strokes gained putting on bent grass greens. That's what we're looking for this week, folks. Guys who can gain a bunch of strokes on approach and then just lace in a bunch of putts on these bent grass greens. You will not see many 3 putts. You're going to have to sink your birdie opportunities. I think Ancer can do both. At 9,300, he's definitely one of my favorite plays in the 9K range.
I didn't realize Ancer gained around 6.5 shots tee to green to crack the top 10 last week. So, yeah, that was a hell of a week.
He was right there on Sunday.
Yeah.
He started at -4. Like, could have easily been in the playoff too if he had played well, but he didn't.
Len, to honor Reed T. Fowler and him bringing a child into the world, how about Tony Finau, $9,100?
Yeah, I'm not big on Tony Finau this week. We haven't seen too much out of him this season. I guess he returned at Mexico and had a good week, and then everyone, including me, a little bit, okay, is he finally back? And then we saw he wasn't back. So no, there were a couple of guys in the 9s that I like. The top guy, Sam Burns, and the bottom guy, as Geoff was talking about, Daniel Berger. There are 9 par 4s on this course under 450 yards. It's by my count half the tournament. There are a lot of short par 4s, and 2 stats I'm looking at this week: par 4 efficiency 350 to 400 and 400 to 450. there are four guys in the field ranked top 25 in both of those stats. Berger and Burns are two of them. Spieth and Justin Rose, the other two. Berger's been very quiet this year, really hasn't contended, maybe the Honda, but this is his course, and he's a very favorable price. I think he'll be a little under the radar.
Man, Burns is one of those dudes who just runs so hot and cold. So he's posted 8 top 20s, including a couple of victories, but also like 5 missed cuts in this 2021, 2022 kind of wraparound season, Len. It's bizarre. Like, you don't know which version is going to show up.
Yeah, I think part of that is that he's still a young player. I think the consistency will come when he gets older. But obviously, the fact that he's playing well many weeks and winning tournaments still, he just had another win fairly recently, bodes well for Sam Burns' future.
And as we go to the 8K range, Geoff, here's a dude you've mentioned also like a few times because you and I tend to talk a lot of golf together. Tommy Fleetwood. I mean, that was a fantastic finishing stretch at Southern Hills, vaulted him into the top 5, continuing like a quietly steady season for him.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's nice to see Tommy Fleetwood bouncing back to form. I'm going to be the guy who just has seen enough from Tommy Fleetwood in these situations, though, where he's coming off a major, everyone loves him again. Everyone makes him their pick, and then it's just like, it's like T30 or something, or it just doesn't happen. I see the appeal in Tommy Fleetwood, but I see more appeal in going down, like to Webb Simpson here. I would rather just take like the easy mark here in Webb Simpson. This is such a Webb Simpson setup. You know, he's played here 4 times over his career. Twice of them he's finished well inside the top 10. Again, like Webb Simpson was injured earlier in the year. Now he went to the PGA Championship, a long course, definitely not a Webb Simpson course, and he finished really well. Like top 25, gained strokes throughout the bag. I think you have to play him at 8,700. It's just too big a discount for him on a course like this. When if the Webb that we saw last week shows up this week, he's probably gonna top 10. I mean, that's just what Webb Simpson does on these layouts. So I really like that. And the guy I will take a shot with rather than Fleetwood here is Davis Riley. I've come to the conclusion, Emerson, you just need to play Davis Riley every week. That's how good he is. Like Burns, he's going to be a little bit inconsistent, but we saw at the Valspar, the high end, the upside with Davis Riley is immense. He just gained 1 million strokes tee to green last week. He had a fantastic week ball striking as well. We know he can putt. Like at 8,400, I think you just start playing this guy every week when even if he's a little bit more expensive than this, he's going to break through soon.
All right, Len, who do you want here in the 8K range? I mean, Geoff mentioned Webb Simpson, record at Colonial, though a little less consistent. T5, 2 missed cuts, last 3 attempts.
Yeah, going back to Tommy Fleetwood, I'm going to caution on Fleetwood and even Davis Riley, and I'll tell you why, because neither one of these guys has played this course before. And we see that experience matters at Colonial. It's not a bomb and gouge track. You got to play your angles, second shot, a lot of different variables, and we see older champions win here much of the time. Last 20 years, 18 of the champions have been over 30 years old. That speaks to experience. That speaks to not growing up in the bomb and gouge era. So that doesn't mean they can't have a pretty good finish, but maybe if you're deciding between 2 guys, find a guy who's played Colonial 2, 3, 4 times. And one of those guys is Kevin Na at 8,100. He's won here. He's had another top 5. He's like Burns, where he has great weeks and bad weeks, and that's not good for an older player. But I do like Kevin Na this week. He loves Colonial, and he says so.
All right, Geoff, in the 7K and under range, I mean, I feel like there'll be some viable options here because we know Colonial Country Club, it's tighter, it's more claustrophobic, like off the tee. Some guys kind of maybe stray away from using driver, which has opened things up for more balanced competition like in the past.
Yeah, I mean, even in the 7K ranges, there's a ton of playable players, but to me, like there's a real drop off like after you get down kind of like 7,700. But there's 4 or 5 players above 7,700 to like 7,900 that are, and they're going to be popular. And we've got Brian Harmon, we've got Rose, who Len already mentioned, Chris Kirk. The guy I actually like better than all of them is Gary Woodland. And you think of Gary Woodland, you don't necessarily think shorter tracks because he can get it out there off the tee. But he has typically handled these kind of courses really well. He's got a win at Copperhead in his career. I think it's a very comparable setup with skinny fairways with some dogleg. He's top 5 at Sony Open a couple times. Gary Woodland's playing really, really consistent golf. And let's not forget, 2 months ago, this guy had a one-shot lead over Scotty Scheffler at Bay Hill with 2 holes to go. Like, he is playing good enough to win. The approaches are there for him to win at a course like Colonial. And he's a better putter right now, like later in his career, than people give him credit for. So I think Woodland has a chance to be the lowest owned of that group, like Harman, Kirk, Rose. I really like going to him this week. And I think for the outright markets too, I know we're talking fantasy today, but plus 5,000 for Woodland, I think that's a good price. This guy just looks ready to break through to me.
Yeah, he's got that nice little fade that can work pretty around Colonial.
The little bullet draw off the tee or whatever. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
That thing I could watch on repeat.
Yeah, that works well around Colonial. Who do you like in this price range, Len?
Yeah, that upper 7, we're going to see a real sweet spot there, as Geoff was talking about. I mean, Woodland, Kirk, Harman, Rose, we could see a lineup with all 4 of those guys. We could see a lot of lineups with all 4 of those guys. And there's a lot to be said for that. I'm not going to just piggyback on what Geoff said because I agree with it and he said it, but I'll just go a little bit lower to Maverick McNeely, 7,500, hasn't missed a cut in 7 months. It shows he's played Colonial before, but don't miss a cut. You can play on any course. You adapt your game. Doesn't matter the field. Go a couple $100 lower. You'll be by yourself or a lot fewer people on board with Maverick McNeely.
Yeah, we got to talk to our folks at DK. He doesn't even have a headshot. Like, come on now. Let's go slate-approved pick, guys. Who will be the top scoring DFS golfer this week, Len?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Jordan Spieth. I was thinking, what am I going to say? Am I going to do I want to say Jordan Spieth? Well, that's not helping anybody. But now you even said it. Who's going to be the high scorer? And I think he's going to be, even if he has the same 15 under, 12 under as somebody else, his score is going to be higher because he's going to have more birdies, because he's going to have more missed 3-foot putts for bogey. He's just going to be the highest scorer, and of course, he may win the tournament as well.
All right, where are you going here, Ulrich?
I'm going to go with my guy, Gary Woodland. I don't know. I've just been really feeling good about this. Like I said, the putting upside with Woodland, I think, is there. A lot of confidence with that club right now, it feels like. And I just feel like he's ready to break through. So Jordan Spieth, definitely from a probability perspective, he has the best chance, in my opinion, of being the highest scorer. But I'll take a bit more of a long shot with Woodland here. This is an event where we've seen lots of plus 5,000 guys get it done.